Coronavirus. Why is creation still broken even after the Bible revelation at Mount Sinai? Greetings from your friend of dialogue and Charro Anusim. Let's get ahead of the curve. Not being a physician myself, I cannot help much with medical treatment. But as physicist, I sure can contribute to culture in the coronavirus aftermath. Life is what you make of it. Crisis is opportunity to reconstitute by the paradise principle of veracity or truth condition of reason and language. I am presently working on an easy-to-understand book which should come out shortly. The previous two e-books, Paradiseism 2016 and The Principle of World Caring 2018, were perhaps too exploratory for beginners. The feedback I'm getting is that Paradise is too complicated to understand or else too simple to explain things. In any case, my sincere apologies for unavoidable roundaboutness. That's the nature of unraveling novel ideas. That said, let's resume. The core question is how reason and truth are related. My claim is so simple that it's disconcerting. Verily, what is holding us back is that we weren't brought up to think of one whole and triad parts simultaneously. But this is precisely what Paradise remedies. Succinctly, as triad parts of reason, PRD of one whole of truth, S. My working hypothesis is that the veracity condition of reason is creation, PRD of creator S, as found in the Pentateuch of Moses in Genesis 1:1a Aleph. That is, what condition must reason satisfy in order to lead us on the path to true conclusions? Briefly, that the one whole is made of triad parts, or conversely, triad parts constitute one whole. That is, triad parts PRD in one whole S, as in the acronym Paradise, where the consonants stand for outside P, between R, inside D of one S. Perhaps we're more familiar with the body, mind, spirit of life, or concretely in H lingo, hands, head, heart, whole. The question underlying civilization, since its very inception as language, has always been what the conditions of veracity or truth of reason are. How can we make sure that our thinking will lead us to truth and won't lead us astray to falsehood? Needless to say, there is nothing new under the sun. According to my ballpark inquiry, the timeline goes from modern Europe, 18th century, Enlightenment, Common Era, passing by humanism of ancient Athens, Greece, 6th to the 4th centuries before the Common Era, all the way back to deism of archaic Israel, 10th century before the Common Era. Simply put, with deism in archaic Israel, there was revelation followed by prophets who dealt indirectly with the Creator. Suddenly, in ancient Greece, there appeared humanism, with reason which left the Creator of deism or Godism out of the question. After that, in Christian times, during the Dark Middle Ages, there was the Pope as vicar of the Creator on earth, as a mixture of humanism and deism, with humanism subservient to deism. With the advent of science, all this came tumbling down, but the question subsisted still regarding how can we ascertain truth by way of reason. The challenge up to our days has been to come to terms with deism and humanism, with, on the one hand, truth of the Creator, and on the other hand, reason of the created humanity. Simple addition and subtraction of deism and humanism hasn't met with much success. Do we need a vicar or prophets, or can we figure it out on our own going forward? But who is the we anyway? Is the coronavirus aftermath like science consensus or like politics, depending on whom you ask? My answer in no uncertain terms is creation PRD of Creator S, as in humanism PRD of deism S. But just said in passing, is it really creation of Creator or in Creator? That is creation separate from the Creator or somehow entangled both from the outside and inside and in between with the Creator? This is attested in the second creation story in Genesis 2:7. And the Lord God formed the atom, dust of the earth, blew into its nostrils the breath of life, and the atom became a living being. Vayitzer Yod Heh Elohim et ha'adam afar min ha'adama vayipach be'afaf nishmat hayim vechaye ha'adam lenefesh haya. Somehow this needs surfacing in language so to unequivocally convey the intended meaning. The options are creation PRD of or by creator S, or creation PRD in creator S, or creation and creator, or simply creation creator, as contiguous yet separated by a forward slash with or without intervening spaces. This last one has the added perk that it is reminiscent of an ordinary coin flipping sides joined by the rim, respectively, so as to intuitively constitute a whole inherently made out of triad parts. Let's get back on track after this brief digression. This is where we are today, or were, till the coronavirus upended the world as we know it. So, our world crashed with COVID-19. The question now is how to reconstitute it out of the wreck. No, things don't just bounce back to old normal. To adequately address the reconstitution challenge of creation, literally of our whole wide world, we need to take it from the beginning. In following is my take on the delicate subject at hand. Please bear with me. The driving question in the coronavirus aftermath is if it's going to be the new abnormal or the new normal. For that purpose, let's start by posing the following entry question. Why is creation still broken even after revelation of the Torah teaching by the Creator to Moses at Mount Sinai in the year 1312, according to the Bible chronologists? Simply put, the answer is either because the Holy Book is not really the blueprints of creation after all, to serve us as guide in civilization, or else we miss the master teaching of the Creator, getting lost in the details of the creation narrative and thereafter. As Anusim and thus late newcomer, descendant of Jews coerced into Catholicism back in 1492 Spain, not having been raised in the Jewish tradition, I wasn't blindsided to commit the collective oversight of missing the obvious. The self-evident can be none other than primeval common sense, satisfying the condition of truth of reason, somehow hardwired in us since our coming to be on earth. Before proceeding, let's unravel a few things first. The question of the truth condition of reason is intimately related to that of deism and humanism, or as we just convened from now onwards as humanism-deism. Likewise, the question of did the Creator make us created or not is not different from the question was the universe created or has it always existed? The classical responses are, on the one hand, Aristotle's impossibility of an infinite regression to a first cause, thereby concluding that in order to save reason, he had to favor the eternity of the universe. Plato, on the other hand, while endorsing the creation of the universe, attributes a demiurge as creator, thus making deism dependent on humanism. Thus, the best source, besides somehow going back to time equals zero, is the creation story as narrated starting in Genesis 1:1a Aleph and covering 1:1 to 2:3. The question is as entangled as can be. It's not strictly speaking an either-or question, more loosely like a both-and one. On the one hand, we are part of creation as distinct from the Creator, while on the other hand, though not ex nihilo creator like the Creator, but we are creative nonetheless. In summary, we are physical, mass, space-time, as pretty much all else in the universe, plus the creative faculty above mentioned. But we're also endowed with a force called mental that somehow goes back and forth between the physical and the creative or spiritual, for lack of a better word. And regarding the Creator, all we can say is that it is, and not much else. Given that there is creation, there must be a Creator. The trick is how to piece together our above findings in such a way that it is a useful tool for being successful in this world, all the while saved for the afterlife. This unique situation is picked up, rightly addressed, and adequately answered by way of the paradise resource. As creation, our mass space-time as plain P, the thinking reasoning mind as remit R, the creative spiritual discovery D, and on its own, the Creator S. What is the relationship between reason and truth? It's all in paradise as reason PRD and truth S, or should we say reason PRD, truth S? That is, that triad parts PRD of creation make up the one whole of the Creator S. The triad parts distinguishes it from three parts, or any number of parts, whereas the one whole of Creator keeps it separate from the parts of creation. In my humble opinion, this is the best explanation I've ever come across in all the books of science and philosophy and symbolism. However, a caveat is in order here. This is not a classical Kabbalah reception or any of the popular versions out there. Rather, it's a unique combination which reflects my approach coming from technology science P, philosophy R, symbolism D, and religion S. Wrapping it up for off-the-shelf consumption as non-religious, non-secular, non-dualistic paradise, or more to the point, paradise as non-dualistic, non-humanism, non-deism. Let's now move on and say a few words about the notion of this master teaching or master revelation. This is relevant insofar as the Bible in Hebrew means Torah, teaching, and there was revelation at Mount Sinai to Moses. The immediate question is which or what is the teaching of the teaching, capital T. While there are many teachings, needless to say, out of the many there must be one standing out, much like the analogy of the forest and the trees. My claim is that there is one master commandment, since the 613 commandments reduced to one master teaching, as 613, if you add them up, 1 is 10. 10 is 1 plus 0 equals 1. But what is it? The what it is, where is it? Where else but at the beginning of creation, by the very beginning creator at Genesis 1:1 a Aleph, namely Aleph Bereshit, A in beginning of. Please note that in head of is ordinarily translated as in beginning of. The acronym employed in paradise are the traditional Peshat plain P, Remes remit R, Deraj discover D, sought secret S. In a nutshell, paradise is triad parts creation PRD, one whole creator S, as of P beginning R in D /1 S. In more explicit terms, it's outside P between R inside D /1 S, or else the familiar body, brain, heart /life. This interpretation has the added advantage, besides seeing the Creator's handy intervention in the work of creation in every aspect of life as an invitation to follow in its footsteps. Without the firm foundation of the beginning and pre-beginning, we're left as if hanging by the brush. No wonder world crisis is the norm. In a way, I'm like the hedgehog who knows only one big thing, as compared to the fox which knows many small ones. I guess that makes me sound like a keychain or nickel and dime prophet of sorts. Now that we finally figured it out, the next thing is to start to make whole our broken world once and for all by applying paradise for re-civilization. Contrariwise, we'll follow unending conventional wars and biological calamities, all the while saddling future generations with trillions of debt. In closing, a last point before letting you go. By idolatry, I mean not really believing in creation with implicit creator, somehow endorsing the steady state universe going back to Plato's Demiurge and Aristotle's default. All this, by the way, simply discredited by the Big Bang of cosmology. The virus of disbelief as idolatry is mentioned throughout in the Bible. While reading it, I never could understand why its insistence. Thanks to the coronavirus, now I know better. It simply is coronavirus P, duocracy R, dualism D, /idolatry S. It's a package deal, meaning that things come in triads. The virus is idolatry of not worshipping the Creator, but falling for false deities. The virus of the non-living takes many shapes and forms to camouflage its true nature. We're now at the end of the age of dualist civilization. Now what? If we drop the baton, it's dark ages again. Modern day idolatry is more subtle, no more clay or stone figurines. This crisis took 3,000 years in the making since revelation to Moses at Mount Sinai of the Torah teaching up to today, third millennium. End of cycle. We have to get it right this time around. No more kicking the can down another century or so. Things are only going to get worse moving forward. Last call. The coronavirus is just a drop that spilled the already broken and corrupt and misguided world system. Yours truly, Rick, and GD bless. Austin, Texas, capital of the world and branch office of heaven. Thank you.